Not immediately, but at some point in the stream, and I'm sure that we're going to talk about this more than once, at some point in the stream, I have kind of a serious question. It's not serious, like, oh no, serious, but it's just like, that's a situation. What to do? Sort of question. So anyway, I'm gonna go get my water bottle and then we'll start the stream. You know what I've since done, Castle? I bought another of the exact same water bottle, just in case this one breaks or blah blah blahs or gets lost. I have a backup ready to go right behind me. Whew, I feel out of breath. I'm very happy with my water bottle. Just for the record, it's a wonderful water bottle. The only thing is, we part of what makes this water bottle such a great water bottle is the cap that we got. Is the aftermarket cap for this water bottle is what made it so good. Man, I just feel like I can't get my breath today. Honestly, I think I got COVID a long time ago. Like, I think I talk about it then. And I just haven't been able to get my breath for like weeks now, and I've had so much brain fog. Oh wait, I'm gonna go take an ibuprofen. I think there's a command for it, Chloe. I think if you do like exclamation mark water bottle or something, I don't know. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go take an ibuprofen. There is a water bottle command. That's nice. The boodle. And the bottle lid combination is important for the record. I'm not really a straw person. I'd much rather drink out of like just like a cup. But like whenever you have a water bottle, oh dang dude, the Wither Farm is kind of killing it. Oh, of course, right when I go to push the button it stops. What was I saying? Dude, my brain fog is so real today. Oh, I like drinking out of open cups. But the problem with like a normal water bottle, whenever you have to just completely unscrew the lid to then drink out of it like normal, and then you have two pieces, and then you got to put them back together, and that's super inconvenient because like, what if I just want to drink out of my water bottle one-handed? Like, what if I want to move around in my hardcore world while I then open my water bottle and then one-handed drink and then close it? It's so convenient this way. So anyway, so we got a special lid that allows us to drink out of the water bottle, not use a straw, and do it all one-handed. Yeah. Did you attempt to take on the Woodland Mansion today in your hardcore world? Only in iron armor? Yo, you do you, boo. I'm not gonna, that seems pretty scary to me. The rates do feel better. At least now, as I turn on the stream for the first time today. The rates feel better. It's still not there yet. Oh my gosh! Okay. So we found where they're spawning. I think we know where the current trouble spot is. My goodness. Okay, can I clear it? I'm gonna use some fancy trickery again. Dang, dude, they're even on the side? Okay. I mean, this mostly gets the job done. Oh, look at that! My iron golem is like... It got some of them. Oh. Type of crossbow? Garbage crossbow. I heard a gas. Gas cries. Okay. So we clear this area and then maybe this is the break point? Oh wait, we've definitely got, wait, I don't want to fly away. But we have two areas because we have that one like in the top area over that way. Right. We do those two areas and then maybe? Well, you thought. Okay. Baby yeet. Oh, he didn't get yeeted. Big sad. Okay, so I have a question for you today, chat room. It's not that... Excuse me? Excuse me? It's not that important of a question. The ramifications and implications and the... It's not an important question at all. However, I'm still curious / interested. So, some of the longtime viewers will know that I am a... I don't want to say a member, because that's not quite the right word. However, I participate in my local Kansas City Twitch community. There is... I haven't done this in like 2 years, admittedly, because there was kind of a worldwide pandemic. I don't know if you heard. But I did / do participate in this community. The Kansas City Comic-Con is coming up next week. And there was a... What would you call it? A... Nims? You alright, bro? There was kind of a community request put out in this Twitch Kansas City community thing that said, hey, Twitch wants us to put on a panel at the Kansas City Comic-Con. do we have any volunteers that would like to be on this panel? And I'm like, and the specific theme of this panel is how did streaming, let me look at it. Let me actually look at the message DM thing. How streaming got me through 2020. That's the whole premise concept of this panel thing. Candy Rabbits thinks that I would be a good fit and a shoo-in. Because, again, it's like a volunteer. The Comic-Con is like in a week and a half from now. So it's very last minute. But a lot of things are like kind of panic rushed regarding it because everybody's trying to figure out how to safely do a Comic-Con with like the Delta variant everywhere and everyone just getting super crazy sick. I say as I describe my immense brain fog. Candy thinks it would be a good fit. I don't feel as much. I don't feel that way. I don't know if my relationship with streaming is very apathetic. I don't know who wants to listen to me describe my apathy. No one. But still, I wanted to get it's because it's so short notice. They need an answer by tonight. And it's not like I was expressly or specifically invited. But I'm curious on but I do know the representative from Twitch, and like also Candy Rabbits knows most of the people at the Comic-Con. She was offered the job at this local Comic-Con to be like the number 4 person. She was going to be able to oversee all staff, which is huge. Like, she was going to be the one responsible for like 1,500 people. But she turned it down. It would have put her on a career path that she wasn't interested in. Anyway, that is to say that, like, we both know most of everyone that's related to or involved in this. Are you chilling? Or are we frenemies? So, like, I could probably swing it. But, like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how much I would fit. And there's no time to, like, talk about it with, like, the people that we know, because they need an answer by tonight. So I was curious, chat room, what are your thoughts and opinions on this sort of, like, do I do a panel? I'm nobody. And, like, specifically how COVID got me through 2020, I streamed less. Like, that doesn't seem the most relevant or like, a good fit. Excuse me, that hit. Ooh, rates. Oh, I'm stuck on a ghost block. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't move. Damn ghost block. Hello? If we get rid of fitting the theme, would you want to speak on a panel? Is that something that you think would be fun? Yeah. So there's some, like, anecdotal stories regarding that. So again, Candy Rabbits has worked at Planet Comic-Con for a while. the name of the local Kansas City Comic-Con. A while back, there was a person who, like, I was there visiting Candy as Candy was helping out with the con or whatever, and this person was so condescending in regards to the she said something like, "Hey, why aren't you here volunteering if you're here anyway?" It was a very condescending thing to say. And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not a volunteer. Like, Comic-Con isn't something necessarily that explicitly interests me." And she's like, "Oh, well, you should just volunteer anyway." And I'm like, "Did you not hear what I just said? This isn't the place or venue for me." I didn't say that part. Instead, I said something like, "Oh, well, I'm more interested in doing something like at a TwitchCon or a VidCon or something like that, or maybe a gaming convention." And to which this person was like, fuck, what did she say? It was something very dismissive. It was something like, "Oh, that's just not gonna happen." Hello? Oh, hello? I think there's a hole right there, and they're aggroed on me, so they keep accidentally falling out or pushing themselves out of the hole and then, you know, dying. Pancaking. So she said something like, "That's just not gonna happen," or "Oh, you've got a long way to go for that, honey." You know, that sounds right. It was something dismissive with, like, one of those pet words like honey in it. Or sweetie, or fucking something like that. I don't remember. Admittedly, this was a very angering experience for me, and I said, "Nope, that's it. Because of this one single person, fuck this con. If I'm ever gonna come back to this con, I'm gonna do it as a panelist." So, like, maybe that's conceited. Maybe that's self. I don't know. Like I'm gonna come back and show them. But I said, like, I'm not gonna ever volunteer now, and the only way I'm gonna do this is if I get, like, invited to be a panelist. Which, as we've talked about a lot before, I do not value. Like, am I a representative of the Minecraft community? Am I representative of the Twitch community? Am I representative of the YouTube community? No, to all questions above. So, like, who am I to then sit on a panel? But still, that's what I told myself. As like a way of coping with this very dismissive, kind of bitter old woman. And so now, admittedly, I have a chance to sit on a panel at the con that she told me I had no chance to do that at. However, I don't think I'm a good representation of streaming during a pandemic. I don't think I'm necessarily the best representation for streaming, period. And honestly, my views on streaming are getting more and more apathetic? No, that's not the right word. Pessimistic? Sure. You know, I follow a bunch of, like, YouTube content creators, that do guides and product reviews and stuff like that for how to be a good streamer, blah, blah, blah. And there was one that I was recently watching that it kind of it paraphrased the point that I've had for a long time, but I've never communicated quite as concisely as this video. And we've talked about this before, and that is streaming sucks. Like, full stop. From the purposes, like, it's a very fun, cool, interesting, engaging platform where you get the, like, interaction, like this conversation where I can read your message, like, blah, 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 right as we are doing the thing. That is fun and cool and interesting and great. However, from a content creator standpoint, that is more than... No, I'm no fun language. If you want to make streaming a job, you don't stream. That's it. That period, full stop, no questions asked. This is, you do not stream to make streaming your job. Twitch has no search engine optimization. Twitch has no discovery tools. Twitch has nothing that will help you get started on the platform. And neither did Mixer, and neither does YouTube streaming, YouTube Live, whatever the hell. You do not stream to start streaming. You get on platforms that have discovery tools or search engine optimization tools built into them. You make content for those platforms, then use very good targeted search engine optimizations and discovery tools. I'm kind of redundant here. And you grow a platform that way, and then once your platform is sufficient on that platform, you convert that audience into a streaming audience. And that's the truth of it. So, like, what am I supposed to do? Go up on stage and tell these people, like, oh, hey, you're interested in Twitch streaming? Well, Twitch streaming fucking blows if that's all you're doing. Like, don't do it. There used to be this ideology, and it was pushed a lot, and I think I actually was one of the people that pushed it, was you have to stream 60 hours a week to get anywhere. And it's like, that is absurd and, like, just unhealthy. But if you have something like, I'm not even going to entertain a 60-hour number, because that's just, there is no, you shouldn't have to put 60 hours into anything in a week. But if you had, say, 20 hours available to you to dedicate to something like streaming or online content creation or something like that, if you had 20 hours, bro, I would put freaking like 18 of those hours into something that's not streaming. And so again, to loop this all the way back around, am I really gonna get up on a Twitch panel and be like, yo, don't stream? Don't stream. And like, oh, how streaming got me through COVID, how streaming got me through quarantine? Is that actually a fair representation of what the platform is? Or are we just gaslighting people into thinking that Twitch is this great, wonderful place when it has clearly deep-seated issues at almost every facet of its platform? Woo! I didn't catch on fire, I caught it. So those are my actual opinions, spoken as plainly as I can. I don't know if I'm the person that I should be taking that stage. I think I have a lot of information that I could share. I think that I'm a analytical and self-aware person, to the point that I would be able to make a claim and defend the claim based on, I'm not going to like bullshit my way through an interview, simply. If I am passionate or knowledgeable on a subject, the things that I have done my due diligence and I am well versed enough to be able to at least defend my viewpoint. Now, that's not to say that I am always right. I'm not. But I do have perspectives, and my perspectives I could explain, and I could I'm trying to think of the word. They're not like knee-jerk, they're not unbased perspectives. I have evidence, I could source things, I could blah 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 blah. I missed the what is the panel topic? Quote, how streaming got me through 2020. Is quote unquote what the panel would be about. So like, am I really gonna get up on stage and tell a bunch of people like, oh, streaming is the perfect, most wonderful, excellent experience that you could ever have in your entire life, and you should absolutely drop everything, invest a couple $100s in a good computer and streaming equipment to then do something where you're gonna sit at 0 viewers because somebody on the internet told you that you need to put 60 hours into it? But fuck, I'm also a person on the internet, and I'm telling you that instead of doing 60 hours into the project, you should instead dedicate your time to tools that have discovery built into them. Like, not only is a fuck you to the person, but you also have many original and valuable takes on the subject. And see, I bring that person up because I am biased, and like, I want to evaluate my own bias. I want to give that person the middle finger. As an aside, real quick, that person already got the middle finger. So to kind of pull the whole story together, you know how I told you Candy Rabbits was offered a job as being like head of volunteers or head of staff? That was that lady's job. That's why that lady was so, like, condescendingly dismissive of me. It was to devalue me, to get me to volunteer under her. So, like, that lady already got the middle finger. She got, like, demoted out of her position, and that's why Candy was offered the job to be... It was her job. So, anyway, that lady already got the middle finger. But still, you know, it did set about a goal or motivation in me, and I should be aware of my biases and respond to my own biases accordingly. Why are you clearing out more than other rates? We're still not getting the rates I want. Do you still feel as though streaming is a topic or hobby you'd want to discuss in front of people to share your ideas? Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Like, would I make a video on how to stream? Sure. I've already effectively paraphrased what the content of that video would be. If you want to start streaming, don't stream. Look at generating, like, look at a 80-20, 70-30 rule, where 70% of the time, 80% of the time that you have available to you is spent not streaming, and only 20 to 30% of the time available to you is streaming. So if you have 20 hours in a week, you should be spending 16 to 18 hours, 14 to 16 hours. I know how to do basic math. You should be spending 14 to 16 hours making YouTube content, making TikTok content, etc., 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 because that will do more to generate a streaming audience for you than just streaming ever will. It's that whole problem of the first, like, 3 viewers issue. How do you get viewers when you have 0 viewers? You are literally, there is a once you get down into the 1 and 0 viewer section on Twitch, there is an infinite number of people there. Obviously, infinite is an exaggeration, but the scroll wheel just goes forever. And all of those people are like real people that have goals and hopes and dreams and experiences and are unique in their own way and have and they have some desire, some choice or path in life has led them to being there with 0 viewers. And like, I don't know, that just makes me sad. And then I think about the community that has gone into creating like this like, I don't know, experience where people are willing to put themselves through that kind of demoralizing experience. And it's just like, man, this is not a good thing. And, you know, again, I'm not even a perfect person because, you know, at the end of every one of my streams, I could be looking for like 0 viewer streams to host, to help out, to try to counteract this problem in my own way, and I don't do that. Trying to catch up on that. You know, honestly, it does sound like they're looking to portray a positive outlook, and if that's not how you genuinely feel, I do feel positive about it though. But it's like again, I am only focusing on the bad right now because this is where I think I will have issues, but there's a lot of cool things that Twitch does as well. The fact that I am reading your message right now in real time is just fun and interesting. The fact that we can share things, then generate clips and memes and inside jokes, which is all memes are really, I guess, at this point. All of that is just wonderful. But it is not perfect, nor is it that easy. And so with the title of this thing is How Streaming Got Me Through 2020, do they want a person that's gonna be like, how streaming got me through 2020? It fucking didn't. Like, and I am fortunate. I am lucky. I am, and that's not to say that luck, like skill didn't have any part of it, because I think that all luck is when skill meets, or preparedness meets opportunity. I'm gonna sound like a fucking dad here, but luck is just when preparedness meets opportunity. But still, fuck. How's it going, Padawan? So like I think about like I was there ready with a good computer, streaming equipment. I knew how to make videos. I wasn't great at it, but I knew how to do it. Right there at the beginning of YouTube, and I had a good understanding even then of what like title tag, description, thumbnails were, and like I was able to use that to like generate an audience. Hello, you guys are wonderful. And then yeah, I'll take a sip. I got you. I got my energy drink here, my fruit punch energy drink. So specifically what I am most worried about, and I could go on and highlight the cool things about the community, but that's not the issue. And I think that if we only highlight the good, it turns into like some MLM sort of scheme. Like your what is it, Airborne, or fucking Mary Kay, or whatever the hell that is. Why am I holding up my golden carrot and not my pickaxe? I don't know. And it's like, oh yes, you should get started on Twitch, and it's only going to be great, wonderful things, and you're going to get rich quick, and you're gonna have a giant community that never has any problems and loves you undyingly. That's just not true. That's just objectively not true. And like, this is the problem that I have with some of these things. But does that make me an asshole if that's the thing I want to talk about? Like, yeah, maybe. Because it's the problem of like, hey, just because we all kind of know it doesn't mean that you want to be told it day in and day out. Like, oh hey, one day you're gonna get really, really sick, chat room, and you're not gonna make it. That's just gonna happen. But like, am I an asshole to just remind you of that all the time? Yeah, a little bit. I'd be a dick. So like, am I gonna show up with this like dark cloud of negative energy to a panel where like the goal is to talk about how positive the world is after COVID, as we here in Missouri are like the second worst state for the Delta variant? And it's like, people are dying, hospital beds are full, they're turning people away. Shit, I think I saw tents being set up, like on the Missouri subreddit or something like that, because hospitals are so overcrowded again. But no, COVID's done. How did streaming get me through COVID? Like, the fuck is this topic? So, like, I don't know if I'm the person to get up on stage and just be like, I don't know about this. This is pretty sus to me, dude. Portfolio diversification, i.e. Twitch streaming and YouTube content or TikTok blah, is infinitely better than sticking to one platform. Well, that, I mean, true. But is that what you say at a Twitch convention? Yeah, okay. Could you be not doing that? Oh, goodbye. Goodbye. Isn't there a famous saying along the lines of always kick someone who's already down? I am not familiar with that saying enough to comment on it. I think your advice opinion is valid. If you think your views could add to the discussion on the panel, go for it. And see, this is where I have a second moral problem, because I think that it is important for a diverse range of views, and especially ones that aren't perfect sing-song praises the entire time, because that's just not realistic. However, given the short nature of this invite, because they're still trying to, I mean, COVID is still a thing, and the way that this whole event is being put together is very sloppily. So this invite, I have to respond to it by tonight. And it's like, there's no time to ask questions. There's no opportunity for me to ask the person running the event, like, hey, what is the goal or motive here? All I have is the ability to just go, what does it mean to say how streaming got me through 2020? What is that? And I have to just make a call on that title only. I know if I send like the showrunner an email, considering the event is basically a week away, they're not gonna respond. Really? No. So I have to just make a call right now for myself. And that's why I'm asking you guys about it. I'm gonna go get more stuff before I keep mining. Well, it's like any other performing job, but the zero audience streamers are all people who didn't get through auditions at the place that had an audience. I mean, I agree with that metaphor, but only kind of, honestly. Because it's not A5. It's more like you have, who didn't... You have... Okay, if you're wanting to make a metaphor of like a performer and they didn't get through, auditions, it'd be more like there are so many people waiting to audition that it is wrapped around the entire building, around the block, and like the line just to even get into the auditions is miles long. Is it theoretically possible for you to wait and wait and wait to then get through those auditions? Sure is. Absolutely. But is it reasonable to tell someone to hinge their life, or to hinge an expectation, not their life, but to hinge an expectation on a literal 5-mile long line that will take them literally days, if not weeks, to get through? In this metaphor, and then translating days to weeks in a real life line, it could be months or years in a Twitch timeline. Those people haven't even gotten to audition yet, let alone, yeah. So like, what do you do? In this like audition metaphor, it's more like you go start at a venue, where you know a guy and he can help get your name out, and then whenever you start your real auditions, you get to skip to the front of the line. It still doesn't mean that you're going to succeed, but at least you got to skip to the front of the line. Patterson check maybe? I haven't been in the overworld in an age, so no. There's not gonna be anything here. Ooh, color me corrected. 1. But real talk, that 1 probably filled up as we left last time, yeah. It's literally just 1. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for the question. You say that streaming didn't do it. Were there any moments where you're thinking about streaming and it impacted your mental health positively or even negatively? I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I mean, there are great parts to it and there are negative parts to it. Like, they're really good and they're really bad aspects on both sides. Oh, I guess Powdered Snow would go in here, huh? I guess we could just bring this with us to the Nether, right? It's not that big of a deal. Boom. 5 more ancient debris. So, the answer to your question, play devil's advocate, Were there any moments or aspects that affected you negatively? Yeah, sure there were. But there were also extreme positives. It's not... neither of those things exist in a bubble. They are true. They are both true at the same time. Okay, this one powdered snow that I gotta add to the farm. Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm a degenerate. And again, nothing that I'm saying here is literal 100% factual truth. It's all opinions. I could be way off base. I don't think I am. Because, like, wait, that's a dumb thing to say. Because if I say I don't think I am, then why would I have... If I do think I'm off base, then why would I then have the opinion? I don't know. What a dumb thing to say. Whatever. Castle says, they are valid opinions and probably should be said. They might not be popular opinions. I think the question is, are you okay being controversial or devil's advocate? That's not exactly a comfortable spot to be in. See, yeah, that's kind of the thing, is like, I don't think that anything that I've said has been, like, explicitly wrong. They are admittedly opinions. But do I, as a human being, have enough depth to be able to argue all of my points, and argue not in the literal sense, but just to make a case for my perspective in front of other panelists and an audience of people who collectively have way more brain power than I do? I don't know. But then, like, at that same point, like, if I don't have, if my perspective can't stand up to peer review, then, like, fuck me, I shouldn't have that perspective. So if that's my point, then if the problem that I have is worried that my opinion will fall apart under peer review, then that's not a good reason. And I don't think my perspective will fall apart under peer review, just for the record. So then the question is, am I okay with, like you said, being controversial or devil's advocate? And again, this is to really hype up my own perspective. I would like to clarify that even if I said yes to this, there's a chance that they don't take me. There's like 30 or 40 moderately sized streamers in Kansas City, and this call to be on a panel went to all of them. Because it's so short notice, it was just like the showrunner took a shotgun approach and was like, hey, I need people, please, and basically sent out a giant group message. So even if I say yes, there's a chance that we don't get put on the panel, just for the record. Yeah. Real talk, someone bringing some cold splash of water will probably do a lot of people a favor. The truth is just like Hollywood, only a few people make a living and a tiny number get rich. Yeah, that's true. Like, shit, chat room, I'm not paying a whole lot into Social Security right now, nor do I have a 401k. I've been thinking a lot about what I'm gonna do for retirement. Like, my Social Security payments are gonna be like $12 a month. I don't have a 401k, so I'm like, I'm kind of all in on this Roth IRA right now. Hopefully we got it started soon enough. Also, chat room, go start your Roth IRA if you're in the States. Like... Can someone chat tell me the important thing being talked about? We just tuned in. TLDR, I was invited, along with a bunch of other content creators in my area, to sit on a panel
panel talking about how streaming got me through 2020. Do I accept the invite? And for just, again, clarification, it wasn't sent to me explicitly. I was on the list, but there are like 30 or 40 content creators in my area, and this invite went to all of them. I'm gonna itch my face. So have I, and thinking about the expectations of what they want at the panel versus what you want to say is also good to mention here. True. Again, it's literally talking about how I don't have time to clarify. So the con would be next weekend, and I even if I had a question, this is a bulk email sent out by the Twitch correspondent to the show. It's not something that I can just sit there and probe their brain on and like ask a million questions to then see if I would even maybe be a good fit, and then they would, no. It's not something like I can just sit there and be like, blah, blah, blah. Showrunner, provide me and only me your undivided attention while I have these like moral and ethical quandaries about should I or should I not do a thing. I need new glasses, Charo. You were talking about opinions earlier. Is this not more of a talk about experience? Okay, so with it, again, I don't have time to ask the showrunner specifically what they're looking for. All I have is what I can infer out of the title, which is How Streaming Got Me Through 2020. With COVID and how kind of scuffed this Comic-Con is, this is a very last-minute thing that they're trying to use to fill space in their program. It is not something that is like cleanly put together, you know what I mean? So what can we infer out of that title? That title screams positivity no matter what. And I don't think that streaming... I think it is very brainwashy to say that streaming is not without extreme challenges. At least allow me to rephrase, or at least to clarify. I think that streaming professionally is not without extreme challenges. I think that streaming, I mean, pretty much anybody could download OBS or Streamlabs OBS or what have you, and turn it on and maybe have a couple of friends come in and have a fun stream. But to have a stream where you are like self-sustaining and financially profitable, yeah, bro, that's no, it doesn't happen like that. And there is this, I would argue, there is a perspective in the community that says, oh, you just gotta grind. Just grind. You didn't do the grind right. You need to put in 60 hours a week for like 300 weeks, and then maybe you'll make it. And I was like, no, don't do that. But that perspective absolutely exists. And admittedly, I think I have personally propagated that perspective. I don't agree with it anymore, but it just does go to show how wide that perspective was. You know what I'm curious about? Hang on. I think if you are up for stirring the pot and calling it how it is, then absolutely go for it. So wait, to just clarify a quick sub-point, you agree with me, Castle? Do you also believe that my perspective or takes here are how it is? Are an objective truth? Because they're not. They're not literally, rephrase, they are just an anecdote in my experience and what I personally have observed. They are not a universal truth yet. They are just my observations. But if they fit your observations and everyone's observations, well, then they could be a universal truth. So Nims, what's a voice in your head telling you to do in terms of doing this or not doing what? What's the problem in your head? The voice in my head is lazy as shit. So the voice in my head is like, whatever. Not your fucking problem, dude. Don't worry about it. But like, that's the voice that's like, that's the same voice that when you're like walking in the park and like, I don't know, eating an ice cream cone and you finish and you've got like that little bit of paper or like the napkin that you were using to hold your ice cream cone, that's the same voice that's like, just throw it on the ground, bro. Don't worry about finding a trash can. It's not your fucking problem. That's the voice that's going right now. So like, and then you always have to do the thing like, no, I'm going to just hold this napkin until I find a trash can somewhere in this park. And that's the thing. And it's like, yeah. So anyway, it's the, oh, damn, I just finished, you know, you go through, you go through fast food, you get some snacks or something, but then you're like, dude, my car's a disaster. Let me just throw this trash out the window. And then you're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's bad. And it's like, but it's not my problem. No. So that's the voice that's going off right now. So like, fuck that voice. Okay, cool. You got out the way. Oh, damn. I was hoping that I could just plunge him straight in. Yeah, we don't listen to that voice. We don't give that voice the time of day. I think your opinions are pretty accurate as long as you keep it in the frame of doing it professionally. True, that is a great point. Because if your goal is to just set up a stream, hang out with 2 or 3 of your friends, then absolutely, streaming can be a wonderful experience for you. And just like anything, where I mean, it's the difference between I don't know, playing a little bit of baseball in your backyard, or any sport really, just kind of kicking a soccer ball back and forth a bit with your friends. Hey, that's perfectly fine, and if you want to do that, go for it. If that's how you want to, that sounds fun. That sounds like a lovely evening. But like, if your goal is to become a professional soccer player, or to become a professional athlete, they are not comparable even a little bit. And it's like, and that's the problem that I have, is that the community pretends like they are. Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. Goodbye. He's not dead. He's just down there swimming in the lava. This would just be easier if I squared it out. What am I doing with my life? Talking about a Twitch convention sort of thing. A Twitch panel, actually, not a convention. I don't know how far I need to go. Subjective experience. I can't talk. Subjective experience is powerful. Nobody has access to universal truth. True. So when you keep going back to that, like it's an actual barrier, you're psyching yourself out with cognitive distortion. That's on the level of an all or nothing illusion that causes depression. That might be a wonderful psychoanalysis of me as a human being. But that's neither here nor there. I spend a lot of time just thinking, like, are the perspectives or takes that I have, is the experience that I have one that is comparable in a way that is fair and relevant to the rest of humanity's? And so the opinions that I have and hold dear to myself, are these opinions a fair and valid thing compared to the rest of humanity? And like, I think about that a lot. Why are these just not connecting because I'm trash? No, I just was like 2 blocks short. Okay. That is kind of convenient though, look at that. So like, if I wanted to phrase this inside the context of a panel that's titled How Streaming Got Me Through 2020, I would not phrase it as a direct answer to that question. How did streaming get me through 2020? It didn't. What got me through 2020, and I would argue that this is much closer to the truth than that question originally implies, is it allowed me to reset my mental, to evaluate what streaming actually is as a platform and approach it in the correct way. No, I'm still haven't done that yet. Like, fuck, I haven't made a YouTube video yet. But chat room, I'm close. You all saw the Adobe Premiere screenshot. I just gotta do the voiceover. But then I am forcibly changing the subject of that question into something that's more like, how streaming got me through 2020. It didn't. What 2020 did is it allowed me time to reassess my relationship with streaming, in order to reapproach the platform in a much more healthy and positive way. And then when clarified, I'd say that the perspective of the endless grind, you must put in 40 hours a week, 50 plus hours a week, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, you need to go on these long, like, life streams, like these people that haven't missed a stream in like 5,000 days or something ridiculous. Like, that used to be the perspective, but that's wrong. And so what happened was not streaming getting me through 2020, it was 2020 providing me time to reassess my relationship and realize how wrong that perspective is. and then to then apply this new perspective in like an 80-20 to 70-30 ratio, even though I myself am not doing, I am not, and this is like a problem, like it becomes a do as I say, not as I do situation, because I myself am not following this ideology that I would be propagating in this panel. But still, do as I say, not as I do. 70-20, 70-30, 80-20 relationship between streaming and other platforms that are allow for a more natural growth. Which, interestingly, I think is actually relevant or retrospective of a lot of things in life, or at least a lot of things post 2020. I think that 2020 allowed for a lot of people to slow down, to reevaluate the grind that they're on and see how ridiculous it is. And I'm not going to say that that is entirely the reason of places like fast food places having issues hiring workers, but I would say that it is a significant part of it. Why would you go work for $7.25 an hour whenever you could be a little bit more strict and a little bit more stringent, and admittedly use some of the unemployment benefits that were being given out to then take your time and search for a job that pays more than $7.25? I would say that a lot of people were able to use 2020 as a way to reset their mental and reevaluate the situation that they have found themselves in our go, go, go society, and then pursue and reapproach their own lives in a way that is more positive and beneficial for themselves. I would say that that experience is not even unique to me. But then there's a question of like, shit, is that now a political perspective? Do I really want to get into a political debate with a bunch of randoms in like just a Twitch panel? I don't know, man. I'm awaiting your YouTube debut. Chill out, UFO. Chill out. Catching up in chat. I did that trick once and now I do it all the time. Look at me, look at how fancy I am. I think the point is that you are not going to be the only one with that opinion. Whether it's the majority opinion or not, it's yours and others' opinion, and you are representing that group of people. So don't let you stop from voicing that perspective. Thinking. I mean, it's not like, I don't know if it's necessarily that simple though, because there's like interpersonal relationships to manage as well. Like I would say that I am, well, maybe not literally friends with the Twitch staff member that puts these things on. I would say that we are very friendly, and we do know each other by name, and that we basically engage with each other, hang out, share a few beers, catch up at all of the events that we both attend. it's like if he is a Twitch staff or a Twitch volunteer, I don't know what his technical whatever is. He's the Twitch contact though for our region. And he's like, oh hey, I'm gonna put on a panel that is how streaming got me through 2020. And then we are on a first name basis, and I show up and I go, it fucking didn't. Does that burn an interpersonal bridge? Does that burn a relationship? It might. Does that matter? I don't know. If he doesn't respect me for the opinions that I have, as long as the opinions aren't like actively hurting people, and I would argue that my opinions are based on like the opposite of making sure that people don't follow a false ideology until the point that they do hurt themselves. And if he can't respect me for that, is he worth being friendly with? There's also a question of like, is this like pseudo-intellectual bullshit worth it? Like this is probably way too deep for a 30-minute panel. And I don't have the time to ask him, oh hey, what's the length of this panel going to be? Like, bro, do you just want us to get up on stage and share like one anecdotal piece of blah 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 and be like, oh hey, I had fun, it was great, I earned a couple of extra dollars that I wouldn't have otherwise, and it was wonderful. That's my piece. That was my 5 minutes. And now you do it for 5 panelists. You have an opening and closing statement. Boom, everybody's in and out of the panel in 30 minutes. Like, is that what they want? I don't know. Is this just gonna be something that like, and I don't care, but would it be something that just appears on the unpopular opinion subreddit? Like, am I just gonna get up on stage, say a bunch of words, everybody goes, ugh, and then my time's up, and that's it? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, it's a bit better. I should have done a better job about clearing like these little nubbins that stick out though. Are you okay with being controversial and the devil's advocate? I think. See, like, my goal, people that are devil's advocate for the sake of being devil's advocate are dicks. Just for the record, I'd like to go on record and say that's why I get annoyed with debate for debate's sake. And like, if you've been here long enough, you've seen that happen to me. I have gotten, like, I don't want to say visibly upset because I don't use a fucking webcam, but I have definitely gotten upset or angry on stream because someone just keeps challenging an opinion or challenging an ideology, not because they agree with the antithesis of my ideology, but because they just want to debate. And I'm like, bro, chill the fuck out. Like, there's no reason to do this. So anyway, devil's advocate, I would be devil's advocating a little bit. I would be the opposite of the opinion that is the premise of the panel. True. Oh, damn, I almost got it. I want to see if this helps the rates down. We've cleared out 2 big problematic areas. I think that we need to do a little bit more up there. I see 1 or 2 over there, but that might not even matter because that's so far away. Like, if I were to actually be down there, does the sphere that encompasses mob spawning, does that reach that upper area where we just saw those hitboxes? I don't know. But that's a question that you'll have to answer. I mean, yeah, true, and I have like 3 hours to answer it. Like... Okay, so there's a couple right there that we could clear out. Oh, what are we building? I think I saw that question earlier. Withered skeleton farm that automatically grinds experience, bones, coal, and skulls. We then use... I'm probably going to yeet the bones, but we could use the bones to bone meal nether trees. We could use the coal to do either a giant furnace array or trade with villagers, blacksmiths. And then the skulls are skulls, which we could use to either set up a billion beacons, or we could use the skulls in our future project, the Hall of Faces or Hall of Fame, depending, which is an homage to the Hall of Faces in Game of Thrones that we're planning on building in the overworld near our base, which should require a lot of mob heads. So yeah. And then the experience we should be able to use in order to, 1, continue to push. 520 is pretty impressive. Chat room, I want to hit, like, level 1,000. I think that would be great. I want to hit a level 1,000. But then we could also use the experience in the same way that we use the overworld skeleton farm in order, there's one there. We could use the experience in the same way that we use the overworld nether, or the overworld skeleton farm in order to repair our tools while they are actively being used in AFK farms. So again, with that nether tree farm, you're going to be using an axe to automatically cut down the tree, and it'll take durability, and you could repair that durability with the experience it's generated out of an automatic experience farm like this, because it creates a trickle experience effect. Except this won't be a trickle, it'll be a freaking river by the time it's done. I'm trying to catch up in chat. Question to the room: do you think online interviewers are able to see the wrinkles in your dress shirt or not? Put it in the dryer for like 20 minutes with a damp, not wet, but damp towel. Maybe even 10 minutes to do the trick. Or if you have a hair straightener in the house, ask your mom, ask your sister. If you have a hair straightener in the house, you could like lightly mist your shirt and then run the hair straightener over it as well. Be careful though, this is an easy way to burn yourself. Ask the dude if it would give him blowback. Odds are he'll either tell you straight up that it will. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest part that I should pursue. I should be like, Yancey, my man, I don't think I agree with the premise of your question, which is how streaming got me through 2020. I disagree with it. I think that streaming is, generally speaking, the ideologies that go into creating a streaming career are, generally speaking, unobtainable for the average person and creates a false set of expectations that only lead to disappointment and sadness. I think that we need to be honest with people, and I think that we should reevaluate our language in talking to prospective streamers. I think that 2020 allowed me the time and availability in order to reevaluate my relationship with streaming, and then to and I think I am able to communicate. No. I think that 2020 allowed me to reevaluate my relationship with streaming, and how we as a community are in some ways lying to ourselves. And being aware of these shortcomings allows me to have a happier and healthier relationship with the platform. That's my real answer, I think. Rates still aren't great, but they're a lot better. Do you remember our day one and it was like one skeleton every 10 minutes? This doesn't seem too bad. $60 skulls, we're about to roll over. You know what we would have over a stack? I mean, we do, because we started with 1 skull. We've got 40 in here, then 60 in there, and 1 that's just a permanent buffer because that's how filters work. So really, we farmed at least 100 odd skulls. They'll have several people and a moderator that will structure. He'll probably be the moderator, to be honest. And they'll have prepared questions that might even allow you to do it. I think that you have nailed it right there. I think that is the concise. After talking through this, I think that I am okay and would be fine with having my opinion shared on a stage in regards to what we just discussed. However, I think the real goal, I think that we have now stumbled across what the real issue is and where my hesitancy lies. I feel confident in my opinions, and I feel like I would be eloquent enough on stage to communicate them to strangers. I think that my hesitancy is what is the format of this event? Is it something where each streamer or each panelist would have, I don't know, 2 minutes to give a response, and then you have a bunch of canned questions from your moderator, and the canned questions are like, how has streaming helped you? And it's like, there's a very clear expected response with a canned answer, or a canned question like that. And if those are the entire, like, if the entire format of this panel is built around 30-second responses to canned questions, then I would not be a good person on this panel. So, I mean, I guess the question really is the panel 30 minutes long or an hour long? I could paraphrase most of it down to, because if it's 30 minutes long and there's 5 panelists and 1 moderator, then boom, that means that we're not going to have the time or availability to actually share the nitty-gritty of what our thoughts are. And I think that the details are important with a perspective like the one I would want to share. So yeah, I could paraphrase it for him and say, like, is that a 30-minute panel or a 60-minute panel? And then, I don't know, I guess this just leaves us in a position where I want to send the dude an email, the Twitch contact, an email, and just be like, yo, is this a 30-minute panel or a 60-minute panel? And is it going to be Like, what is the intent or goal of the panel? Because I think that matters just as much. That's a problem spot. What about that other spot that we had? It was like above the area that we cleared last stream. And why is this just a sheer wall? Oh, I was up here. Duh. I like how there's 3 dudes on 5 blocks here. What up, guys? Should have been an upper area. Yeah. Oh, later, bro. Though I don't think you might be putting enough emphasis on streaming as a hobby and how building a small community can be very rewarding. True. So the perspective is definitely one of like how we lie to people that pursue it as if it's a viable professional career. That's kind of the take that the whole premise of my perspective is not enthusiast, period. Yeah, the whole premise of my perspective is not from that of an enthusiast, it's from that of someone who wishes to do this professionally. And how we as a community lie to each other and lie to ourselves, and how this platform is built. That's fine. If your goal is to just hang out, have a little bit of fun on stream, and then do it for 6 months while you've got the free time, but then blah blah blah, and then you stop, like, yeah, that's perfectly fine, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and this platform is wonderful for a situation like that. Now, what are we doing? Let's just do it this way. Oh, I got a nose itch. Good luck and Godspeed. Yeah, good luck. Thanks for all the tips. For sure, dude. I'll see you on the other side, UFO. The goal feels kind of like a fluff piece to gush about how great Twitch is. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that a lot. And if I were to come up onto stage and be like, okay, yeah, while there are a lot of really wonderful parts of the platform, we are lying to each other and ourselves to pretend like these other really predatory aspects don't exist. So if like, yeah, and this is where I need to ask the guy questions, but I really doubt he has the time or availability to quickly turn around on my email. As an aside, thank you for everyone for like being here and allowing me to talk through this and providing real perspectives and not just being like, Nims, you're making a big deal out of nothing. I don't know, this is just how my brain works. I think about these things. And like, I don't know, if there might be an argument that says I'm overthinking it. That might be a perspective. But thank you for humoring me. Yeah. Excuse me, I punched that. I disagree in video game. Twitch streaming is not the cooler banker. I don't understand that reference. I'm just not even gonna lie. Good luck in Bardic Inspiration. Yes, have a D6 Bardic Inspiration. No, wait, I think my Bardic Inspiration is a D8 in my campaign now. I'm a sick bard. All right, I'm here to weigh in on the question of the day. What is it? Ooh. They're coming in late into the conversation. Let me see if I can super paraphrase. Does this... I felt like we were friends, but then he started to fly away, and I knew he was going to be mad at me. I think you'd be okay if you use work like being extremely unrealistic rather than lying. Yeah, I should probably use less inflammatory language, for sure. Saying over and over again how this is creating like unrealistic expectations for people that are interested in getting started in streaming. At least getting started in streaming as anything beyond a very casual hobby. My bar died session 0, dude. Big rip. Can I make a recommendation tree? Bard Warlock. Wait, what is your starting level? Ah, that doesn't even matter. Basically every campaign that I've ever been in has started at either level 3 or level 5. Because like level 1 and 2 are just garbage levels. They're like, are you even playing D&D? A rat could kill you at level 1. So like, what level is your campaign starting at? It's worth shooting the shot and sending an email? Okay, okay. Tell me your multi-class suggestion. We usually start at 3 to 5. Okay, perfect. Hexblade Warlock, Lore Bard. 2 levels in Hexblade Warlock, and then the rest, and then, you know, X in Lore Bard, and that's what I currently play. I love it so much. Hexblade Warlock gives you proficiency in medium armor and fuck, what was it? Something else. Or Celestial Warlock. Celestial Warlock's also pretty good. This handles a lot of the bard problems in that Vicious Mockery is, while it's a neat spell, it kind of falls off. For Warlock, you could do things like 2 levels in Warlock gives you 2 invocations. So one of the invocations is very clearly going to be Agonizing Blast, and of course you take Eldritch Blast as one of your 2 Warlock cantrips. So now you have a D10 plus your Charisma for a cantrip that you can spam over and over round per round. And then you still get Hex because Warlock, and you get like 2 or 3 levels, or 2 or 3 first level spells from Warlock. And so then you take like Hex, Armor of Agathis, and fuck, I don't remember. I have my character sheet right here on my phone. Actually, I can look this up. Hang on. Let me look. Right there. So then you take spells. Armor of Agathis, Hellish Rebuke, and Shield is the other big one. I remember how I built this. Yeah, you take Armor of Agathis, Hellish Rebuke, and Shield from your Warlock, but then your first, what do you call it? Your first feat could be Fey Touched, which still increases your charisma by 1. It's a half feat. So it increases your charisma by 1, so you're still getting that charisma up for all of the juicy goodness, but then that's where you take Hex, is through Fey Touched. And then your 2 Warlock invocations that you take are what the fuck are those called? It is Agonizing Blast, and it's the other one that's the good half of Warcaster that gives you advantage on concentration checks. I don't remember what that one's called though. What is that called? Eldritch Mind. That's what it is. You have advantage on Constitution saving throws that you use to maintain concentration on your spells. So then by going Hexblade Warlock, you get Shield, so you don't die because you're squishy as hell, because that's just what bards are. And then you still get Hex, and then you get all the fun spells as being a Warlock. You have a Blaster spell, so then you Hex, and then you Eldritch Blast spam, and that's your damage in combat. But then you are still a Bard that still has all of the tricks that a Bard can, only delayed by 2 levels. And real talk, 2 levels of delay on a Bard isn't the worst thing in the world either. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, Magical Secrets is freaking broken. Like, the fact that you could pick up Find Greater Steed earlier than a Paladin can get Find Greater Steed is kinda busted. Same thing with, like, what is it, Swift Quiver? You get Swift Quiver before Rangers could get Swift Quiver? Kinda broken. We are currently level 12, but I started this campaign at, like, level 6. So I was 2 Warlock, 4 Bard. No, I don't play my Bard as a horny Bard. That is not, nope. There, in several hundred sessions, I think okay, several hundred, in maybe 100 sessions, I think I've seduced one person one time. I think I seduced a librarian to then get access to some, like, dossier of, like, the politicians in the town that we were currently in. I refuse to play a horny bard. Instead, the way that I tied being a bard and warlock together is that my bard had no musical talent and no musical ability, and he sold his soul to basically sold his soul to the devil in order to be good at playing music. But, you know, in D&D verse, my patron is my patron, so... Paladins have a hell of a lot more stuff that's broken, especially when that aura kicks in. I mean, true. But still, find greater steed, allowing you to effectively twin cast onto it. So an interesting interaction is Armor of Agathis can be twin casted onto your find greater steed. So you could take Armor of Agathis through Warlock at level 1, use your Bard spells to upcast it, and then whenever you get, and admittedly, we're at level 12 in our campaign, so I did get my level 10 Bard magical secrets, and one of the things I took was a Find Greater Steed, so it is funny because I can Armor of Agathis twin cast onto my steed and gain a bunch of extra health that then also annihilates anyone who tries to touch us. And then, you know, I have Shield is a spell that has a target of self. So, like, Shield also twin casts, which is pretty good. So you're playing the part of Johnny and the Devil Went Down to Georgia. Yeah, but I'm a good guy. My patron in this D&D campaign is a celestial, which is effectively an angel. Doesn't literally have to be good because you can have evil angels. You could have evil celestials, but it's kind of weird to do that. But you could. You could. I plan to make a one-time character that is all I don't like or I'm uncomfortable playing, like raises classes and character traits. I don't understand. Are you literally saying that you're playing a character that you don't want to play? Or are you saying that you are trying to play a character that is like the opposite of who you are? Johnny was good before making the deal with the devil. Nope, my character was not, though. My character came from, like, a very... God, ghost blocks! There it is. I was stuck inside it. Dude, ghost blocks might kill us. With all of these guys, there's a chance that we get stuck in a ghost block and some freaking piglin comes up with a crazy sword that just annihilates us. Oh, okay, I see. You're trying to play the opposite of what you can relate with. Okay, okay. So the opposite of who you are as a person. I got you, I got you. Is that what the bard is to you? If you're worried about piglins, why don't you just wear gold? I think I am more scared of accidentally hitting something than I am of piglin. Like, if I were to just be like, oh, let me mine this block, and then bump that guy, this is what I then have to deal with. I'm giving them a way up. Like, this is what I have to deal with if I misclick one time. I think I would rather have netherite armor than protecting me against piglins sometimes. Okay, we're good. Endermite should die in one hit, change my view. You should try that too. Make a character that's an archetype that you hate in every aspect. What, do I even have a character like that? I could relate with being quiet and stealthy. I could also relate with a bard being loud and obnoxious. I could relate with a paladin having like a singular goal or motivation. I could relate with a warlock making an unfavorable deal for that still advance their own motivations. I could relate with a ranger and being one with nature, or druids in that same sense. I would kind of split rangers up a little bit and say, like, rangers being one with, like, the plants and the trees, and druids being one with the animals, but still. Trying to take the broadest generalized view on some of these class archetypes. I don't know. Well, I did it on purpose, Clawley. How is there just a regular zombie? Am I missing something? It's the reinforcement mechanic. Oh, everybody already answered that. Yeah, it's the reinforcement mechanic. When we were talking about building the cube farms, we were talking about how you could use the reinforcement mechanic in order to spawn monsters. Basically on top of the player that you could then farm inside of a tiny, tiny, tiny area. I think it was discussed that you could use a snow golem to throw snowballs at a zombie, which would then trigger the reinforcement mechanic to spawn more zombies, and those secondary zombies are the ones that you kill and farm.
Last Warlock I played was Clint Eastwood. Last Warlock I played was Clint Eastwood from Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Eldritch Blast was a pistol that never ran out of ammo. Mind Spike was given the Evil Eye. Create Bonfire was a Molotov cocktail, etc., etc. He was a blast to play. That sounds fun. That sounds like a good role play. If you enjoy reflavoring spells like that, it is heavily encouraged to do that if you play an Artificer or, depending on your flavor, an Artificer. Artificer. There you go. They even have stuff like effectively like guns, even though it's not guns. Inside the character description, it says, please reflavor your spells to do something, to be using some sort of engineering component and not just a magic component. So like, you would cast Create Bonfire by throwing a Molotov cocktail. Pickaxe is still looking good. Play the character you'd hate. You'd have to be a complete min-maxer that stole from the party while being edgy and constantly going off on my own. Yeah, that's that. I can even understand min-maxing, because like playing a character that doesn't suck is good. I get it. But like to play the I guess that would be the character. The character that is the edgy rogue that steals from everyone and is always subverting the goal of the party. That would be the character I would hate to play. Because I could, again, say you're playing a bard or a warlock, of course charisma is your best stat. Max out your charisma. Of course you do that. You're a caster. Picking up, like, feats that make you better at casting isn't... But, like, I don't know, a coffee lock, if anybody knows what that is. Coffee locks are, like, the true min-maxy of D&D 5e. For context, for people that don't know what a coffee lock is. A coffee lock. Warlocks get their spells back whenever you finish a short rest. Sorcerers can convert spell slots into points that they can use to then augment their spells. They could also convert the points back into spell slots. But those points are lost if you finish a long rest. Well, there is a trick that you can do that says warlocks never have to complete long rests. And so you just take 8 short rests over and over. You take 8 short rests, or actually it'd be 16 short rests, because a short rest is 30 minutes, or is it an hour? It depends on your campaign. 8 to 16 short rests overnight while the rest of your party is sleeping. So you get all of your warlock spell slots back, then you convert them into spell points, and then you take another short rest while the rest of your party is sleeping. And then you take a short rest, spell slot, convert spell slots, take another short rest, convert spell slots, take a short rest, convert spell slots, and you do this over and over until you effectively have infinity spell points.
and then you could just convert those spell points back into spells or use them in order to create giant, hyper powerful, super ridiculous everything at a moment's notice. That's like busted min-maxing. So yeah, it's a coffee lock because you basically take a short rest, make some coffee, and you're back to 100%. And you just do that infinitely. 1 hour is default short rest? Okay. I think my DM has said that 30 minutes is a default short rest, but yeah, that's fair. An hour then. So you take 8. So then I was right with this 8 number. And I do think that errata, which is basically a patch for D&D, I think that there has been a patch that came out that said that that interaction between warlocks and sorcerer spell points does not work anymore. You can't do it. I think a patch came out that said that you can't do it. However, that is the type of min-maxing that is bad. But I even think that there's some type of min-maxing that is good, or contributes well to a campaign. As an example, there is a Bard Barbarian multi-class that you can do that makes you the best grappler in the game. So then you roleplay it as Macho Man Randy Savage, who is this showman wrestler who just runs into battle. He doesn't punch anything. He doesn't hit anything. He just runs up and grabs you. And, like, he's really good at it. Like, yeah. It's definitely like a Bard Barbarian combination. You can find examples of that, like basically all of WWE is just Bard Barbarians. But is it the most... You're definitely squeezing out every bit of efficiency for your grapples with that build. I've also seen like skill monkey characters, which bards kind of just are by default. But where it's like out of the, 20 odd skills in the game, you have, let's say it's 25 skills in the game. I don't remember what the number is off the top of my head. Out of the 25 skills in the game, you have 23 of them. It's like, yeah, that's also min-maxy, but like, is it the worst thing in the world? I don't think so. Toxic min-maxing isn't having a good character. It's putting every single thing you can into one ability that basically ends combat in one action and being useless otherwise. It's having a good combo, not a well-rounded character. Okay, I could agree with that. Because there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a good character. But like I described, this coffee lock build can generate basically infinity spells and then just blow up the entire world after all they do is just drink some coffee and take a rest. Drink some coffee, take a rest. And after they do that, you know, over the course of a week, they have stored or accumulated enough power to just blow up everything. Like, they are a god. They could literally just, like, snap their fingers and gods blink out of existence. Whereas, like, the Barbarian, or the Bardbarian, he's just a good wrestler, boy. He just wants to pile drive people. Perfect. Perfect. He's really good at pile driving people. But it doesn't... I mean, it'll take an enemy out of combat, right? Because as soon as your barbarian jumps on them, they're grappled. They're just going to fail the grapple check because of how good the barbarian is at grappling. But it's not like combat's over. Your guy is just hugging another dude. My favorite dumb mechanic in D&D is the peasant railgun. Yeah, I saw that Reddit post the other day too. Okay, concept is you get to interact with an object as a free action. So what you do is you hire several hundred or thousand peasants, and then you have them all hold their actions until the peasant at the back of the line they all stand in a straight line, and then you have them hold their actions until the peasant at the back of the line hands the second peasant a cannonball. And then, because of the nature of the mechanics of D&D, the rest of them get to take their turns immediately after each other. 1,000 peasants could all act at exactly the same time inside of a 6-second window, which means that you could accelerate that cannonball over the course of, if each peasant takes up a 5-foot square. So if you have 1,000 of them, you are accelerating a cannonball from 5,000 feet over 6 seconds, right? So when you, very, very simple math could show that, let's say that you have a few more peasants, right? So you could easily get 1,000 feet in 6 per second, which is just a wild amount of energy that the last peasant would release that cannonball with. So you could set up a line of peasants to... Clearly, this is not how the game is meant to be played, but the way that the physics are worded in the book allows for that to happen. Obviously, nobody in their right mind is going to let that happen, but, rules as written, it works. And so you get to create a railgun by just having peasants hand each other cannonballs. I saw a post on the D&D subreddit the other day as well that was how to break the economy in the game, and that's something like you could hire a commoner for 2 gold a day, but if you rob a commoner, you get 10 gold. So if you were to hire a commoner and then have him rob another commoner, you could then use the money that he robs to hire more commoners and blah, 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 and up and up and up this goes, until you have thousands of commoners all robbing other commoners to effectively create an endless cycle of wealth. And then, when you have enough commoners, it scales up even higher. If you rob a lord or someone in a position of power, they are worth, I think it was 1,000 gold or 2,000 gold or something like that, as written in Xanathar's, I believe. So then you hire a few hundred peasants, and it's only going to cost you, 400 to 600 gold, and then you just start roaming around robbing lords for thousands of gold at a time. And it's it quickly becomes this, oh hey, I have an army of thousands of peasants, and now I can generate infinite wealth. Which I guess kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I don't think that's how that rule was meant to be interpreted. But it's clearly not as bad as the peasant railgun. D&D Shorts is exactly what toxic min-maxing is. But I love the theory crafting behind it. I haven't seen anything related to D&D Shorts, I'll be honest. I don't know what that is. I assume one-shot campaigns or like 3-session campaigns or something like that. It depends. If the character forces the DM to jump through hoops to avoid killing the rest of the party, just to challenge them, then it's toxic. Yeah, I had a character like that. I was looking at the new Artificer stuff, and I quickly realized that there's nothing preventing you from, like, at level 6, having, like, 27 AC. With just the Artificer. And it's like, holy shit, if you have 26 armor at, like, level 6, the rest of your party is going to have, like, 18. And due to the way that D&D scales armor, even though it's only, like, a 7-point difference, those 7 points are infinitely less likely, or no, not infinite, exponentially less likely to be hit. So it's just like, you could be an artificer, I go back and forth between those. You could be an artificer that has some insane amount of armor per raw, and basically never get hit. If your DM is then forced to give creatures more attack stats, so that way they could hit against your armor class, well then those monsters will literally never miss another player. And I was like, ooh, that is not a fun character. That is the DM has to rebuild entire mechanics just to account for one character. Not fun. But I wouldn't play that character in a campaign. But if one of my friends told me, like, hey, we're gonna do like a 1 to 5 session campaign, it's not meant to go anywhere, I just want to do a couple of things and test some ideas out and maybe have some fun over like this break that we all conveniently have. No rules, play whatever you want. I'm gonna be like, okay, can I play something like this? And if they say yeah, then I'm gonna play that thing. And artificers also have a thing that says when you punch someone, they get disadvantage on attacking. The person that you punch gets disadvantage to attack anyone other than you. So what you do is you build yourself this like crazy armor character that effectively has so much armor that inside the normal rules of the game, you're basically unhittable. You can't be hit. And then you use these gloves, these gauntlets, that say if you try to punch anybody other than me, you just miss. So if you punch me, you miss because I have 1,000,000 armor, and if you try to punch anybody else, you also miss because you have a disadvantage. But that character also does look very fun, because it's the first time that I think D&D has had an official tank class. Because like a World of Warcraft, like MMORPG style tank. Like, I taunt you, you don't attack anyone other than me. And then through game mechanics, I do some stuff that make it so I never die. And like, you admit it, You could still handle this as a DM. This character is very weak to magic effects. Make them roll some, like, freaking charisma checks and to avoid being mind controlled or something. And your character just gets boop out of existence. They're now mind controlled and beat up the party. Like, you could handle it as a DM. But it doesn't, just because you could handle it doesn't mean that it is fun. Sweet Summer Child, you missed the Hulking Hurler and Pun Pun builds from D&D 3. I played 3.5, but I was, it was so... I wasn't a smart person back then. Nah, we should just clear this. I just didn't understand things. I didn't think back then. That edition was so busted they had to patch it with 3.5 within months? Oof. I didn't realize that D&D had such a structured set of rules and mechanics. It definitely does, but they're all optional. They are very optional. The first rule of D&D is to have fun. And if you are doing anything other than having fun, then you're playing it wrong. So you could, there's this idea of the rule of cool, which is to say, like, if it's a fun thing to do, even if it technically breaks the rules as written inside the game, just do it anyway. This isn't meant to be like a universe that has like hard defined physics, and magic literally exists. So, like, rule of cool. Have fun with it. But because there are such literal rules in the game, you could bend those rules and exploit those rules to do weird things. Like using peasants to throw cannonballs at the speed of sound. It is a very common joke for, like, engineering students to use D&D mechanics to make, like, bombs or black holes in the physics engine. It's not really encouraged. It's definitely something that's frowned upon, but you could do it. Tank, no, D&D 4E had the Warlord that makes 5E tanking look primitive. No, well, I didn't play 4E, so I can't speak to that. I went from 3.5 to 5. But the Armorer Artificer absolutely is a tank in every sense of the word. You can get, like, mid to high 20 armor. You can get mid to high 20 AC, and then you can avoid elements over and over in order to mitigate spell damage. And then whenever you punch something with your fists, with your Armorer gauntlets, you give that thing disadvantage to attack anything other than you. And Armorer gets 2 attacks a round, and then there's a feat that you can use that gives you that would allow you to make a a third attack as a bonus action. And so you could attack 3 different enemies and give them all disadvantage to attack anything other than you. And then because you have mid to high 20 AC, they're not going to hit you. And then because you have absorb elements, even if they hit you with a spell, you can mitigate the spell damage. So the only thing that you are actually weak to is saving throws. And I would make the argument that armorers have one of the better saving throw sets in the game, through, I think it's intelligence and constitution. Now, admittedly, intelligence isn't particularly great. Wisdom and charisma are the things that are really gonna bust up your characters. But still, a constitution saving throw means that armorers are able to maintain concentration on their spells much better in combat, which is a very tank-esque thing to being able to do. Especially if you are giving enemies disadvantaged hit on any target that's not you. I would say that armorers are a quintessential tank, at least as far as 5e is concerned. Ooh, look at all them wither skeletons!
Yeah, black hole arrows. Yep. What are black hole arrows? It's like a bag of holding and
It's the thing whenever you put a bag of holding inside of other extra dimensional space, it creates a portal to like the astral plane that just rips everything into it instantly. So there's a trick or gimmick that you can do where once the arrow impacts something, it puts the bag of holding inside of I think it's a portable hole, if I remember right. And so, boom, it then creates a black hole that sends everything within like a 10-foot radius or 20-foot diameter directly into the astral plane, and you can use it to one-shot basically anything in the game, provided you have a bow, an arrow, a portable hole, and a bag of holding. But like, admittedly, once you get to like the super high-end creatures in the game, those creatures almost always have the ability to like interplanar travel. So sure, you send them to the astral plane, but then they're back in like a week, and they're really mad that you did it. But like, yeah, that's also a thing where like, that's min-maxy, don't do that. Another one that's really bad is Life Cleric multi-classing into Druid to get good berries. When you Life Cleric, it gives you one of the passives that it gives you is a +2 to all healing spells, and then the spell Good Berry says you summon like 12 berries, and when you eat one, it restores 1 HP. So like, okay, that's not a bad spell, but eating a berry takes an action, and so it's not really good to do in combat, blah, 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 blah. But whenever you're a Life Cleric and you have 12 berries, each one restoring 1 HP, but then each one gets a +2 or something like that to the amount that it heals, all of a sudden you burn a first level spell slot and you have 36 healing that you get to throw out, divided exactly among the party members however you choose. It's wildly broken. Regarding 5e tanking, I'm not saying it doesn't have tankiness, but the mechanics of D&D 4e enabled a much more ability to control the battlefield. Sure. I think that we're looking at it from different perspectives. To say that D&D 5e doesn't have tanking, I would say that it definitely does. But whenever you look at it from the lens of maybe other editions, it might not be as powerful as it once was. I could concede with that. I am not knowledgeable on 4e, admittedly. But I would make a very strong claim that D&D does have classic, air quotes, classic tanking mechanics, especially with the introduction of the Armorer Artificer. You're a filthy 3.5 player, filthy 3.5 player. Gross. Hey, we finally got a stack. Rates definitely feel a lot better.